Hi there, it's Jennifer Trask, and welcome to this episode on You'll Never Make More Money Working Harder in Your Coaching Business. I'm really excited for this episode because it was inspired by a conversation that I was having with a client of mine. And I think a lot of these videos come from the conversations that I have with my clients. So thank you to my beautiful clients for giving me this inspiration. But it was coming because we were having the discussion around this belief that this particular client was really on the brink of really letting go. And that is that you need to work hard or harder to get larger income. So I want to I'm going to give you like one analogy, and it's going to completely dispel this belief, because I think most entrepreneurs have this belief, and that you have to work really, really hard and you have to have no life in order to be successful. And that is just not true. And let me tell you why. I want you to look around the world at people you know and people you don't know. And I want you to look around the world and see people who are working really hard. And if we're all honest with ourselves, they're everywhere. People are pretty extraordinary, and lots of people have great work ethics and they're working very, very hard. But how many people are yielding really high results with their hard work? And the answer is not very many. This is why there's a large disparity between the rich and the poor, and so on and so forth. So because there are only 24 hours in a day, you can start to look around and realize that success in your coaching business is not going to come from working longer hours necessarily, because you only have so many. And the reality is you need to sleep, you need to eat well, and you need to have a sense of community and relationships with people, or else eventually you'll go crazy, right? So even if in the short term working longer hours is a solution, it is not a long-term solution. You cannot do that for the rest of your life, or otherwise you will be miserable and burnt out, and we don't want that, right? So the truth is that if you want to make more money in your business, I almost guarantee you're probably a hard worker anyways. And the way I define it, I think there's a very big difference between working hard and a work ethic. So anyone who knows me well knows I have a most excellent work ethic. And in the early days, I worked really, really hard. But today I've redefined it, and now I just have a really great work ethic. And what that looks like is I have a little bit more balance in my life, where sometimes I do work longer hours. I am working more, and other times not so much, because I've learned that there's more of an ebb and flow. And the reality was, if I'm constantly working all the time, you know what? I'm not happy. And if I'm not happy, then when I am working, I'm not being productive, which is what comes down to this myth. So the myth is that no, the only way to success is not through working really, really hard. And I want to caveat that with, you need a good work ethic, but it's not about time. It's about how you're using your time. It's about working in alignment and working smarter, not harder. Because the reality is that if you look at any successful people in any industry, they have the same time as you. It's just that they're using their time differently, and they're using leverage points in a better way than you are. And what's great about this is that, guess what? You can learn it and apply it. Yes. So this is how you're going to get away with, you don't have to work harder. You just need to get more knowledge so you can make better and smarter decisions, and apply what you're learning so that you can get more leverage. Now, there's two ways to get leverage. The first is through alignment, and this is the most important leverage of all, because it sets up the second type of leverage. So when I say alignment, what I mean is get happy. Because if you're constantly stressed out and overwhelmed and how's this going to happen? I can't believe I'm not there yet. And oh my God, I got to pay my bill and I got to do this and I got to do that. When you're constantly like that, then what ends up happening is when you're working, you're not working from a state of alignment, which means that you are not accessing that higher energy that allows things to flow through you. Like, I'm sure you've been in a situation where before you were doing something and hours went by and you're like, wow, like look at all that I accomplished in such a short period of time, because you were in alignment. Not because you weren't in a resistant mode. You were just like, I'm doing it, having fun doing it. And all of a sudden, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours go by and you can't even believe it. It's what happens to me when I'm on coaching calls. Like sometimes my coaching calls go well beyond an hour. A lot of times, sometimes 2 hours. And, 2 hours and all of a sudden we're both like, well, how did that happen? I feel like we just started talking. It was 2 minutes ago, but it really was 2 hours. And that's what happens when you're in flow and in alignment, doing things that you love. So your first leverage point that you need to get is alignment. The second leverage point comes from alignment, which is when you're in alignment, the right ideas show up, the right people show up, the right skills you need, the money shows up, the next course you need to take shows up, the coach you need to hire shows up, the mastermind group you need to join shows up, the opportunity to get yourself out there in a bigger way shows up. It's like when you're in alignment, the universe is like, way to go, we can send things to you, and those are the leverage points you need. So depending on where you are in your business, the next leverage you may need is to learn how to do Facebook ads, right? Maybe the next leverage piece you need is getting more PR. Maybe you need to start hiring people on board. Maybe you need to learn how to manage the people you're with. There's leverage points at every point in your business. So there's no way from this video I can say this, but you know yourself, you can look at your business and you can say, where do I need to get some leverage? What do I need to learn next? What's the next logical step for me? Where do I need to go with this? Where do I need to get help with? And those are things you can ask yourself. And if you're not sure of the answer, you can talk to a business coach and you can talk to someone who's 2 steps ahead of you and then easily discover your answer. Isn't that great? So this is the whole reason why you don't need to work harder. I almost guarantee if you're an entrepreneur, you're working as hard as you can. Maybe you're even working too hard sometimes. You need to relax a little bit and realize that great businesses, whether you want a full-scale, large, huge team business or you want to just keep it small or anywhere in between, but if you want a highly profitable one where that gives you a life and allows you to be a great coach, you're going to need leverage in your business. And so recognizing that you can't do enough to get the leverage, it's a being thing. The first thing is the alignment piece. And then the next thing is recognizing the leverage that comes in the form of people, ideas, resources, things of that nature that you can begin to put into place in your business. That's how you get better results, not from working harder. So I hope that this has given you a little bit of weight off your shoulders. This is a big topic for a lot of people. It's why I wanted to talk about it. And I hope that you recognize that everything you have is within you. As long as you have a great work ethic, you do have to have a good work ethic. And some days you might have to put in longer hours, but know that you'll enjoy that time. It's not a drudgery thing like you're trying to get through mud. It's an enjoyable thing. You're like, wicked, we're in lunch mode. All right, this week you tell your family, you tell your friends, like, no one call me because I'm in lunch mode. We're so excited. We're doing this, we're doing that. And you're running. And then, you know what, after the lunch, you have a little bit of a vacation or some time off. And it's beautiful. Life is kind of like that, isn't it? Where there's times where you get more excited about something or you're into something more, and your business is no different. So with that, I would love to hear from you. How do you feel? Like, are you ready to keep a good work ethic, but get some leverage in your business? put it in the comments below and let us know. And lastly, if you haven't picked up the Ultimate Coaching Business Checklist yet, make sure you get it. It's in the blog below, because it's going to help you see where you are in your business, what are the things that are missing so you can bring them in again so that you can get more leverage. So you don't have to work harder, you're working smarter. All right, thanks so much for being here. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, and I look forward to your comments, and we'll see you next time.